God bless everyone. I am Arnel M. Dahuya, B.Ed student. We are assigned to discuss Peace Team 3, Promoting Nonviolence, and I am the first reporter. What is nonviolence? Nonviolence is the refusal to do harm to other human as life is sacred and is an absolute value. It is anchored on the beliefs that humans have the potential to change. In other words, nonviolence means avoiding not only external physical violence but also internal violence of spirit. You did not only refuse to hurt a person, but you refuse to hit him as well. Mohandas Gandhi, the man who led the people of India out of British suppression, held the following beliefs about nonviolence. As long as people accept exploitation, both exploiter and exploited will be entangled in injustice, but once the exploited refuse to accept the relationship, refuse to cooperate with it, they are already free. This means that as long as a person accepts his mistake and the other side forgive that person, then there will be no problem at all, and they are all free, since the mistake is admitted. Nonviolence and cowardice do not go together. Possession of arms implies an element of fear, if not cowardice. It does not mean that if you have possessed something, you are already brave and powerful. Sometimes you are just afraid and coward to accept and face the situation you are into. No problems can be solved with harassment. If you are just ready to accept and forgive, then peace will be achieved. A person and his or her deeds are two distinct things. Hate the sin, but not the sinner. This means our deeds not define us as a person. There are instances that we are obliged to do something for a reason. So with that, we must hate the sin, not the sinner. Instead, help him to overcome what he went through. If we fight back in a violent way, we will become the vandal and the oppressors will become the law. It is true, if you will fight back in a violent way to someone who had caused you so much pain, you will be punished by the law. Instead, if there is still a chance to have a peaceful talk to that person, the better. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Precisely, it means that if a person has done something bad, that person deserves to have the same thing also. If that happens, then the world will be full of wicked people and peace cannot be achieved at all. Nonviolence is more powerful for converting an opponent and opening his ears with are otherwise shut to the voice of reason. It is better to use nonviolence to your opponent and have peace talk with him. Persuade him to listen and discuss peacefully the dispute between your parties. Nonviolence demands that the means you should be pure as the end sought. Two wrongs will not make the one right. If the end is good, that means must also be good. So, nonviolence demands to avoid any harmful actions to a person because what you do is what you get. If you want to achieve peace, then it must start with yourself. Below are the beliefs of Martin Luther King Jr. held with regard to nonviolence. Nonviolence does not seek to defeat or humiliate the opponent but to win his friendship and understanding. Nonviolence does not want to deprive someone because he accepted or admitted the mistake that he has done. but it aims to have a good relationship and be open-minded to a situation to have a peaceful life. Nonviolence seeks to defeat injustice, not people. Nonviolence wants to acquire the justice that people deserve to have. Nonviolence thrives on love rather than hatred. As what I have mentioned a while ago, that do not hate the person as the sinner but hate the sin. Nonviolence requires willingness to suffer and amazing discipline in midst of provocation. This means, despite the sufferings amidst the situation you are into, nonviolence will still prevail. Nonviolence holds that suffering can educate and transform. Martin Luther believes that nonviolence can be taught and can be changed in someone's perception in life. Generally, peace education tells us that it is best to pursue social change through peaceful means as violence begets violence. Why non-violence? It is both ethical and moral choice. Major religious and philosophical traditions teach about the respect for life with the use of non-violence. It is the right thing to do to avoid hurting people and respect one another. It is also one way to achieve peace and live harmoniously with others. Destruction is not the law of humans by Gandhi in 1935. It is not in human nature to kill someone, but it is learned in the process of socialization. So, non-violence is there to divert people to protect from any violence. Non-violence is a practical choice. Tools and effects of violence are costly. Non-violence is a choice and cannot be bought with any amount. In contrary, the tools and effects of violence are costly. So, it is best to choose non-violence. Non-violence works. The best example that non-violence works are Mohandas Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr.'s stories. Gandhi in India led Hindu people's liberation from British occupation, and Martin King Luther Jr. in the United States of America. That resulted to the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and voting rights of 1965, providing equal rights to black people. Another example is that in 1986, the Philippines surprised the world with its version of non-violent action. People were able to peacefully overthrow the dictatorial regime of Ferdinand Marcos in non-violent uprising they called People Power. That's all, and once again, God bless everyone.
Good morning, ma'am. By the way, my name is Nicolita Suman Daniel. I am the second reporter. What is nonviolent direct action? According to Martin Luther King Jr., the purpose of nonviolent direct action is to bring an issue to a crisis point and create tension so that the issue can no longer be ignored and negotiation must take place. Nonviolent protest and persuasion. Nonviolent protest and persuasion are symbolic acts of peaceful opposition, often used to denounce or show dissent toward a specific issue or policy. Common methods are strikes, boycotts, divestments of funds, and acts of civil disobedience through peaceful violation of laws or regulations. Nonviolent non-cooperation. The program of non-violent non-cooperation included the boycott of councils, courts, and schools, set up by the British and all foreign clubs. Non-violent intervention challenges the opponent more directly. The goals of nonviolent action. Martin Luther King Jr. felt that the goal of nonviolent direct action was to create such a crisis and foster such attention as to demand a response. The rhetoric of King, James Bevel, and Mahatma Gandhi promoted nonviolent direct action as a means to social change. The step in doing nonviolent direct action. First step, collection of the facts to determine whether injustices exist. Collection of facts to check whether injustices exist. One example of these injustices is segregation. King states that the difference between a just law and an unjust law is alignment with moral law. Number 2, negotiation. The negotiation is an essential aspect of the nonviolent concept. Examples include engaging opponents, points of their injustice, propose a way out, and resolve the solution. It can sometimes be active after an action. Number 3, self-purification. Examples are drills and community role-play. It also means to cleanse oneself of any injustices to avoid any act of hypocrisy. It also involves questioning your own moral strength and checking if the violence inflicted upon you can be withstood without retaliating. Number 4, direct action. Nonviolent direct action involves sit-ins, strikes, street blockades, activism, boycotts, marches, rallies, petitions, and civil disobedience. Without these, new ideas can't be introduced and peaceful betterment can't be achieved. Another historical example of nonviolent protest that followed this step is the equal right and pay for both men and women.
Okay, God bless everyone. By the way, I'm Dago Roslida Arompak. We are going to discuss number 4 peace theme, challenging the war system. For me, the Army, however, has 5 other challenges. Strategic land power has 5 other challenges. Strategic land power, envisioning future combat on land joint, countering of anti-access area denial threats, balancing the active and reserve. International, if it is between state or civil, or internal, if it is occurs between rival groups or communities within a state group of non-state. Armed actors are considered political communities since they have a political purposes. Like for example, MILF and Bangsamoro, they have a civil war and strategic land power. Possible causes of war. Based on my own research, possible causes of war is territorial disputes. It has been regarded as the more common causes of war through 1988. Defines territorial dispute as the disagreement between state or groups within a state over where their homeland or border should be fixed. These are the 5 reasons why countries go to war: economic gain, territorial gain, religion, nationalism, revenge, and civil war. Thank you and God bless you all. Thank you, ma'am.